I will not do that with my woman. Nope. Certain things you don't do with your wife. Those are some of the mentalities that I keep hearing of around sexuality from other women that hear this from their husbands or long-term partners. Let's talk about it. Gentlemen, what are the things that you would do with your wife and what are the things that you wouldn't do? Where does that mindset come from? Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I help you get your orgasmic intimacy. This is another delicate topic that I keep hearing of lately a lot. Now, I keep hearing this from Romanian women, so I don't know if this is widespread across the planet or not. Apparently, men from more generations, so their fathers, their grandfathers, their brothers, they go about it this way. Some things, sexually speaking, you don't do with your wife because you respect her. So you take it elsewhere. And what things are we talking about? For some people, it's oral sex. For others, it's anal sex. For others, it's demeaning, degrading. Some men find that arousing, but they wouldn't even speak about this with their wives. They wouldn't share this with their wives, this need of theirs. They wouldn't force, quote unquote, from their perspective, their wives to do this. So a lot of the unfulfillment that people have in their intimate relationships starts with mentalities like this one. No, some things you just don't do with your wife. She's like this precious porcelain doll, and you don't do nasty things with her. So there are associations with stuff around sexuality that is degrading or too dirty, and we don't bring dirt home or in the bedroom. So therefore, you already have from the get-go, before you even meet a woman, before you even marry her or do anything, you have a split. So basically, the chances of you to actually be fulfilled and satisfied at home are reduced to at least half, if not more, depending on how much of the negative values are associated with activities in intimacy and how much education from their fathers or grandfathers men received. This kind of mindset that men apparently have, that certain things you don't do with your wife. You know, she's the lady of the house. You don't get her to do oral sex on you, or you don't do oral sex on her in some cases. You don't do anal sex with her. You don't ask her to do God knows what else. You just don't do that. You treat the lady of the house as the lady of the house, and all that shit, you take it elsewhere. So therefore, you have the perfect scenario for cheating, for going on the side, and not considering that this is a problem. The other potential problem that you have is, what about your woman? What if she actually enjoys those things? But then again, you know what answer I get? Oh no, because you don't choose your woman that is prone to do those things sexually. You can spot those apparently on women. And you don't marry that woman. Never. You take her as the mistress, and that's it. It's the 21st century, but we still have this kind of mindset. And probably, unless somebody does anything about it, it could be the 50th century, and men could still think like this, if mankind were to survive until then. Here's my take on this from a sexuality coaching and growth perspective. Number one, if you have this mindset as a man now watching, or if you've heard about it, and you don't consider this a problem, then case closed. What are we going to talk about? Anything else? Nothing. Nothing can be said here. Nothing can be done. Nobody can force you to choose differently. So unless you start to become aware that this is the kind of mindset that you have, and it's potentially damaging the quality of your intimate life, then yeah, unless that is there, there's nothing you can do to change. Case closed, like I said. If you're a woman and you hear this from your partner, or you confront your partner because you realize that you're not getting the full him in intimacy, you see that he's holding back, or that he's just showing up, I don't know, with 25% of what he can or wants to do, and this becomes apparent to you, this guy is not here, not all here with me. Sexually, I'm getting, I don't know how, half or maybe less. And you decide to confront him, you might hear this kind of answer or mentality. What then? Well, let me tell you how I see it from a coaching perspective. One, you can let your partner know, yeah, but that's not okay. I want my man. I don't want to have to go on the side too. You're probably going to put 2 and 2 together and it's going to give you 4, So you might realize if there are some things that he doesn't conceive doing with you, he's doing them elsewhere. So this nickel falls for you, and then you realize, wait, what's going on here? Where's my man going? And why am I not? What about me? What if I want to do those things? You can present this. So am I going to go with another dude and actually get that kind of stuff? Maybe I'm into it. Surprise, surprise. Maybe you thought I was this Virgin Mary when you married, and it turns out I'm also human and I have some sexual needs. So you can really challenge your man. If he gets pissed off, upset, or shies away, or I don't know what else, decides that we're not going to talk about this and that's it, I'm done. If he punishes you, then he doesn't even show up sexually with you. I don't know I have no idea what kind of reaction a man might have to you challenging him. Wait a second, that's not okay. What about me? So you can first choose to present the problem either with polite terms or with confrontational terms if it's something that really upsets you. Or you can be quiet about it and actually start to fulfill your needs elsewhere. There's a third way here, but I'm not sure how many women would take it. Maybe you don't conceive to get 50% of your man in bed, or 25% or less. And maybe you also don't conceive to go on the side. You want to know, if, in case this nickel didn't fall for you, you know what the option is here? I love you, but I also love me. And I want to have a fulfilling relationship with my whole man in the whole sexuality. So I can't have it, and I don't want to go elsewhere to get the rest of it. Yeah. Those are not easy decisions, though. It's easier, way easier said here than actually done in real life. Walking out on your man and saying, no, I'll take my chances. I don't want to have a quarter of you and miss out on stuff. Maybe I'll just be on my own and at least have nothing, but I know that nobody's lying to me or showing up with the rest of him in my relationship. If you're the kind of woman that cares about prestige, cares about, status, cares about the family name, the inheritance and all of that, yeah, probably you're going to go about it in a different way. Like go on the side, take the situation as it is, not even let your man that you're going to do this. Because yeah, probably no man, if he thinks that way, he's not going to like to know that his woman is going on the side with another man to get what he's not giving her. That, let me tell you, when you reverse the scenario on somebody, totally annoying and, potentially explosive in the worst way possible for your relationship. However, the main question is, if you don't want to give me more of you, what are we going to do here? Am I going to stay here with crumbs of you? That's not, most women don't have this kind of lady balls. That's ovaries, gentlemen, if you don't know what I'm talking about. They don't have this kind of lady balls to present the issue in that way and position themselves like that. There are some women out there, either that have done a lot of work on themselves, either that have suffered enough in the past to realize that if I'm not going to show up here and stand up here for my sexual rights in my goddamn sexual marriage, then I don't want to live this life, So maybe they've suffered enough to understand that if they don't stand up for themselves, it's not going to be satisfying and fulfilling for them. Or they might go through the degrading situation where because that's also true. And trust me, so many of my acquaintances have told me this. It's super nasty when the guy cheats on his woman, because usually that's the most frequent one, and people around in their social circle know, but the wife doesn't. And those who know that the guy is cheating on her, they also know that she's unaware of that. Do you know how, because you care about status probably in that situation, do you know how degrading that is, socially speaking? It is. You're supposed to be intimate with your partner, life partner, but other people know more about your partner's intimate life than you do. Super degrading. Super degrading. It is. It is. So that's also like the reality when a guy's going on the side, and in most cases people know. It is true. They know. But they also look at the wife or the partner and they pity her in a way. Wow. Wow. In a negative way. Wow. You gotta be a really strong woman in the character wise, strong character and strong in your femininity to say, no, I don't want to have this kind of man in my life. Even if I care about social status, maybe this is not the social status that I want. In our society, it's probably very frequent to consider that, it's normal for a guy to go on the side and a woman shouldn't be bothered by this. What if she is? What if she is? What if she's truly in love with the guy? What if she respects him and she thinks that she's getting respect, but she's not? And what if other people know? Because sometimes some of the people that just, in social circles, they come to me. It's not like I have the answer because I do coaching. I don't do free advice. But sometimes they're like, I have this situation in my circle. They're in a long-term relationship. She's so in love. The guy cheats on her. There are more of us in the circle that know. And we never tell her because it's none of our business, but we know. And she doesn't. And whenever she speaks about how much she loves her guy and how great he treats her, part of us knows that, wow, but you don't know the whole story. And the questions that I get is, what do I do? How do I look at this? I don't have an answer there. I really don't. I've had one man in coaching who was doing this in a long-term relationship. He was cheating on his wife, partner. He wouldn't tell her because he knew he was risking getting broken up with. He didn't want to stop cheating, but he also didn't want to tell her. And she didn't know. She probably suspected it because I asked him, do you think she suspects? He said, yeah, she probably does, but she never asks either. Let me tell you, the only thing that I could say in coaching is, well, if you want to live that way, it's not integer. It's not integer to her. It's not integer to you. If you're happy going about it like this, and if you think that you can hold this for the long term, and if you know that if she knew it would hurt her, because that's why you're not telling her. Otherwise, if you knew that it wouldn't hurt her, you would tell her, right? If you can live like that, great. If at any time, because I do mention this, if at any time somebody in your social circle knows this and they pity her, she's degraded in that moment. Even if she doesn't know, she's still degraded socially. If this is not important to you, okay, go ahead. Your life, your decisions. He's not talking to me anymore right now. He did finish the coaching sessions, but after that, he would not even answer my calls. He doesn't like that I judge this kind of situation. But, some things I think need to be said here. So as a woman, if you suspect that your guy is doing that, what would it take for you to clarify it? Even in a polite way. You don't have to confront him, because if nobody says this around you, and if you never see signs of being cheated upon, the only way, if you have a suspicion, is to open up and say, hey, I got this weird feeling. What would it take for you to do that? Do you think he would break up with you because you're suspecting that he's not sincere? That's also worth asking. These are super, like, being honest and sincere and having full trust in your partner, the most delicate things out there. And when a guy has the mentality, some things you don't do with your wife or life partner, you do them elsewhere, that right there messes up the chances of any healthy relationship. Probably those men never show up for coaching in sexuality, for doing psychosexuality work with therapists. Nothing. They just take the growth, with positions, with toys, with accessories, 3 ways to get more intense orgasms and so on. But the root stuff, never gonna touch it. That said, in my perspective, for any woman out there that truly wants to grow and have more in intimacy with their beloved man, and any woman that wants to get deeper, richer, juicier, more transformative intimacy with their man, that is so not just unfair, but it's basically taking a woman's chances of being more in intimacy and she doesn't even know it. And if, as a woman, you're in a long-term relationship, but you can't sense that your man is cheating on you if he does that, I would probably say that your intuition and your deeper connection to your erotic self, it needs to be worked on. Because when you work on yourself, even if it's not obvious from the get-go, eventually you catch up with this. You feel it. In a long-term relationship, yeah, it's going to become obvious to you. And from somewhere, there's got to be a spark. Okay, we got to do this differently. There's got to be a better way for us to be intimate, right? Right. So this is also I don't have answers here. I only have one invitation. Start to do growth in sexuality for yourself. And start to do it before, ideally, before you get into a significant intimate relationship. It's not easy, especially with that kind of mindset. If anybody has inherited that kind of mindset, so not easy to turn it around. But in case you get a partner, a life partner, or in case you don't choose intentionally one empowered sexually partner, maybe they become along the way because something still wakes up in them and they want to be more with their beloved. You might get that surprise also. You think that you got this little kitten that will be good and just will do as you wish her to. What if she wakes up? Sometimes women wake up and they get disappointed and they turn bitter because they've been cheated on, they've been misled. Sometimes women wake up and they take a stance. They want their man. And they don't want to break up. They want more of their man. And I think that's a beautiful way to show up in love for your partner. Wait a second. I love you. Please love me with more of you. Totally courageous. Totally courageous. But that does take a lot of lady balls. So the invitation is, unless you really don't want to give your relationship a deeper chance, especially for men, the invitation is start to do work on yourself and start to spot those mindsets that you have around sexuality that can turn out to be detrimental. Do you know how amazing it is for a woman to be empowered sexually and be empowered sexually with you and show up more, and you to show up more and see the kind of beauty that a woman can bring in intimacy when she is empowered and when you give her more of you? Have you ever considered this? I understand if you ever got this kind of mindset from your dad, granddad, whatever, uncles, you never saw things this way. But if you're watching this video, what if there's beauty, more beauty in intimacy and in the relationship than you imagine right now? Don't you want to know more with your partner? And don't you want to do your work so that you can show up more with your own partner? That's the kind of question and that's the kind of invitation that I have for anybody that realizes they're in a relationship and there's this kind of mindset that messes up the quality of their intimate life. And for that, there's only one single way: coaching, therapy, individually. This is not the kind of discussions that you bring in a group. So this really, like this kind of raw work on yourself, you can't do it in a group. This one needs to be done one-on-one. So that's the only way, the way I see it. If you want to go about it in a constructive way, if you want to just lay low and keep this mindset, sure, go ahead. It's your life. Ladies, if you suspect that this is the kind of situation that you have, still worth asking yourselves the same. What am I going to do with this? What am I equipped now to handle when it comes to this situation? What do I want for my intimate life with my beloved man? Totally important. The more we see all these messages, all these temptations around sexuality out there, the more important trust and showing up fully in intimate relationship is going to be. Yeah, take my word for it as a sex coach. I don't have to be psychic or intuitive to realize this. This one's as clear as daylight. So if I can be of help, it's only with coaching here. Otherwise, I would love to know what you think about this topic, and I'll see you with other videos. Bye.